Welcome to 1189, an online Bible commentary. My name is Tyler Marston. Today we're taking a look at Genesis chapter 12 and the calling of Abram. So remember last time we saw the Tower of Babel, we saw the rebellious humans giving their final climactic rebellion, and it ended with God's sovereignty spreading them out over the face of the earth and choosing one man to carry on the line of this snake crusher who is going to bring redemption and restoration back to humanity. And that man's name was Abram. So we would assume that if he's going to choose one guy to carry forth redemption and restoration back to God for all of humanity, we would assume that he's going to be a pretty good guy, right? He's going to be righteous and normally do the right thing and be really obedient to God, right? Well, Genesis 12 is going to answer the question, does God only use perfect people? And that answer is going to be no. So let's dive into Abram's story and see what he's all about. The Lord said to Abram, "Go forth from your country and from your relatives and from your father's house to the land which I will show you." Remember, we really know nothing about Abram so far except for, his bio information. We know, like his wife's name and where he's living and some of his family members, but that's about it. We really don't know the moral compass of this guy. Nevertheless, God gives him a mission, a blessing, and a purpose. So the mission was what I just read, that he's going to go from his relatives to from his father's house to the land which I, the Lord, will show him. And what he's saying there is, have faith in me, have total, complete faith in me, and let me be your guide. Let me show you the way that I want you to live. That's the mission. The blessing is, and I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Remember, in the Tower of Babel story, the people were doing it to make a name for themselves, right? But Abram's name is going to be great because God is going to make it great. Abram's not going to do anything to make it great himself. God is going to do it. He also gives a purpose of that blessing and of that mission. "And I will bless those who bless you, and the one who curses you I will curse, and in you all the families of the earth will be blessed." The purpose is that all of humanity, not just Abram's family, is going to be restored to God, is going to be put back in a right relationship with God. This is who God is choosing to bring forth the snake crusher from. So this is really huge. He's choosing one representative human to bring restoration and redemption and right relationship back to God for all humanity. So how does Abram respond? In verse 4, Abram went forth as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. So immediately, Abram proves himself to be less than completely obedient, right? He said, leave your father's house and leave all your relatives. And he brings Lot with him. We're going to see throughout the rest of Genesis that Abram really has deep feelings for Lot, and he really loves and cares about Lot. But immediately it shows that he's compromising God's word and plan for him by bringing Lot along. And it shows that Abram isn't completely obedient, right? He's not perfect. He's morally complicated, and morally complicated characters are going to be the people God is using through the rest of Genesis and through the rest of the Old Testament and even all the way up into the New Testament. And it's just a reminder that God is the protagonist of the book. God is the main character. He's the one we should be rooting for all the time, right? The other characters have their moments of greatness, but they also have moments of doubt and sin and disobedience. Verses 5 through 9, Abram and Sarai and Lot and their servants and household, they all go out to the land of Canaan, and they're surveying the borders of the future Israel, right? They're surveying the borders of the land their descendants are going to inherit, which is really pretty cool. And Abram's, building these altars, worshiping the Lord, being obedient in where God tells him to go, until verse 10. "Now there was a famine in the land, so Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land." So when the going gets tough, Abram promptly leaves for Egypt, which is going to be another biblical bad guy, to go get food from them. It's not exactly living by perfect faith. He lives in faith whenever, there's food on the table, but when there's not, okay, God, you're going to do your thing. I'm going to go down to Egypt and get some food. And this disobedience is going to lead to a very bad choice, right? Let's read verses 11 through 13. It came about that when he came near to Egypt, that he said to Sarai his wife, "See now, I know that you are a beautiful woman, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. So please say that you are my sister, and so that way it will go well with me because of you, and that way I may live on account of you." So he doubles down on this disobedience with treachery and deception that threatens to break apart the union that God is going to bless and has chosen to ordain for his future descendants and his chosen line. It's very chapter 3, verse 16 of him, where God says that there's going to be pain and toil in conceiving and multiplying children, right? Abram is threatening to throw away all of that with Sarai because he's afraid he's going to get killed, instead of trusting in God's ability to deliver him. And God is just going to refuse to let that happen, right? He ends up sending plagues on Egypt, which again is going to more famously happen later. And Pharaoh is going to release Sarai back to Abram and be like, "Why did you do this?" And Abram's like, "I thought you were going to kill me." It's all for the purpose that God's plan will be restored, right? God's will is not going to change because of Abram's obedience or disobedience to it. So Genesis 12, God has chosen the family of Abram and tells him that if they do it his way, right, if you seek me to the land which I will show you, I will make you a great nation and I will bless you, and all of the families of the earth will be blessed through him, right? That's where the line of the snake crusher, this figure that's going to restore all of humanity, is going to come from. And pretty immediately, Abram kind of fails at it. You know, he brings Lot along when God said, "Leave all your relatives." He leaves promptly after a famine and shows that he's not trusting God. And then he tries to break apart his marriage with Sarai. And that's the line that God has chosen to bring his deliverer from. But luckily, God does not abandon him because of that disobedience. He's following up on his promises even when his recipients don't deserve it. That's really big for us because none of us deserve the promise that we have in God. None of us deserve the mercy and grace that we experience every day. But God still gives it to us anyway because we're his covenant partners, right? So thanks for watching 1189. Let me know what you think about Genesis 12. And this is a really strange story with Abram and Sarai, but their relationship is not going to get better before it gets worse. It's going to be really complicated. And Abram himself is a morally complicated figure, so that's something we don't talk about a whole lot. And so I hope you will come back and see how gray Abram really is, and more importantly, how good and how faithful our God is in response to that. So thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.